Hi, everybody. Are you looking for some free science fiction and fantasy books to get you going for the new year? We have them because every Friday here at MetaStellar, we read the first few chapters of each of the top 5 free fantasy and sci-fi books on Amazon. Yes, Amazon has a bestseller list of just free science fiction and fantasy books. The list is linked down below. Today's list has a human who discovers a long-lost Earth. It's a space opera. We've got a bunch of fantasy with elves and vampires. We've got a time travel romance. And we have a post-apocalypse kind of survival book with a solar flare that maybe is destroying humanity. But before we get to that, hi everybody, welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. My name is Maria KOROLOV. I'm the editor here at MetaStellar. And today we were helped out by Alex KOROLOV, Melody Friedenthal, Amira Lutfi, Hannah M., and E.S. Foster. And Emma is here with us today. Hi, Emma.
Hi.
All right, so don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of these videos. Like I said, we do them every single Friday. And let's get to the books, starting with book number 5 and counting down to book number 1. And here is book number 5. Woohoo, that worked. Elven House of Ivy by K.J. Dawson is the first of 2 books in the Realms of Tree, a romantic fantasy series. The other book is $6 and it has not been released yet, but it is due next week and it is in Kindle Unlimited. So Kindle Unlimited is where you pay $12 a month and you read all the books you want, as long as they're in Kindle Unlimited. So it's a good deal if you read a lot and you don't mind being tied to the Amazon ecosystem. So Hannah M. read this for us, and she said that this is a fantasy book that opens with a map and a character list, which she considers a must-have for fantasy novels and something she appreciates. Then the prologue covers the beginning of creation, Tree, in the realms of Tree from the series title, is the mother of magic, and she fashions centaurs, elves, fae, and humans out of trees and roots. And elves have the unique ability of immortality, and they can live for 1,000 years in the human realm. And Hannah says she enjoyed this section, and it ends with an ominous warning that immortality can be corrupted. Then in the first chapter, we meet Ivy, and she's an elf on the run from the Seekers, who are a group of corrupted humans. And the Seekers are dedicated to looking for something called the Elven seeds, which Ivy has. And these seeds possess a magical ability to revitalize and revive. And she keeps the seeds in an enchanted glass so that the Seekers can't find it, but this enchanted glass doesn't work. And the Seekers find her. She escapes them and goes into room 777, a lucky number. And when she goes into this room, she meets a man who looks like her father. She warns him about the Seekers. He attacks the Seekers. And she is curious about why his house was protected by magic, even though he was human. She escapes that situation, bumps into a human guard, and manages to escape from him as well. And her plan is to make it over the mountains to some yet unknown destination. Hannah says she enjoyed this beginning. She plans to continue reading. She wants to know more about Ivy's backstory, especially why she had to leave home in the first place. And she says, if you're a fan of incredible and detailed world building, check it out. Next, we have book number 4 on today's bestseller list, The Lies of Vampires and Slayers by K.M. Shea, the first of 3 books in the Magic on Main Street, an urban fantasy series. The other books are $1 to $5 each, but they are in Kindle Unlimited. So Melody read this for us. I wanted to read this, but she volunteered, so I was like, okay, good. I love urban fantasy. I love books with kick-ass women on the cover, and this looks like a kick-ass woman. I love the description of the book, so I might read this after we're done with this. So Melody says that the book starts with a fight with magic spells, and Jade, the protagonist, only has mortal skills in this battle. which is between two Fey courts. She kicks one of the attackers and nullifies the attacker's magic with magic canceling handcuffs. So Melanie says that urban fantasy isn't really her thing, but she's going to try to give the book a fair shot anyway. So the protagonist, Jay, is immortal, but she has non-human squad mates, including Fae, a vampire, and a werewolf. And she's new to this police squad, has social anxiety, and is a former vampire slayer. And then in the next chapter, we switch to the point of view of a vampire. And Melody's wondering whether this is one of those novels that alternates points of view and the two main characters eventually fall in love. Anyway, this vampire sets a mansion on fire. And there's some political goings on with other vampires. Then in the next chapter, we're back with Jade, who's off to work in her night shift job at the Department of Supernatural Law Enforcement. I guess that's where her squad is based. Melody likes the fact that Jade has social anxiety. Melody's more of a hard sci-fi fan and doesn't have a lot of patience for the supernatural, but she appreciates this touch of reality. And you can see her social anxiety in the less than successful interactions she has with her new teammates. And then we get to the main plot. A human woman is missing, and the human police have sought the help of the Department of Supernatural Law Enforcement. And this is the first time they've done this. And the supernaturals can't believe that the humans haven't sent over the missing woman's scent or blood type, because, of course, the supernaturals would want to have that. Then we're back with a vampire who's lazy and nasty and could be working on some secret nefarious political plan. Maybe he's just pretending to be indolent and nasty because he's got some greater good in mind. Who knows? So Melody says we've got a series of supernaturals at odds with another, a human crime fighter who always puts her foot in her mouth, haughty vampires who snipe at each other and have deadly powers, a missing human woman, and the point of view switches back and forth. She says she's not planning to stick with the book. She prefers hard science fiction, but if you like this kind of thing, check it out. And I plan to. I mean, I love the idea of a supernatural law enforcement kind of team going after supernatural baddies, kind of a Men in Black kind of thing, but in an urban fantasy setting. This is exactly what I want. I'm a little hesitant about the potential love story because I hate romance, because I have a cold, cold heart. But I am kind of interested in what's going to happen with this book. And I just realized that I was going to ask Emma to read this review, and I forgot. Emma, can you read the next one instead? The Symbiosis. Yeah. Thanks, Emma. I got carried away and I totally forgot. All right, Symbiosis. Let me make that a little bit bigger. This is the first of 16 books in the Justice Keeper saga, a space opera series. The other books are $3 each and are not on Kindle Unlimited. And the author has been on our list before, and Amira read this for us. And Emma will tell us what Amira thought of the book.
Yeah, so Amira had a lot of thoughts about this book, and she said it starts off with Anna. She is the Justice Keeper, like in the title of the series, and she's chasing after this guy who stole this sort of artifact type thing, it seems like, went running with it through this portal to Earth. Anna also has one of these devices, but she has it legally, and it grants her superpowers such as heightened spatial awareness. So apparently this type of device is some sort of actually a symbiotic being that lives in their head, so I guess that's where the title of the book comes from. So don't really see too much about what it does, but as we go through the story, I'm sure that it makes itself known. So the story, Amir says, begins with this large cache with a bunch of crates and this triangular device that's guarded by a security guard. Triangular device is this portal, it starts shaking, and then this bubble appears, and out pops the fugitive from before. So this is the portal to Earth that we saw earlier. He has this glowing disc that's infused in his hand, he waves it, and the guard goes flying. So Mira says that this is a really great action scene, and she really enjoyed this part. Then Anna steps through this portal, and she looks like she's made it through the portal okay because apparently she is someone who has lived for like in a different time and has gone across the galaxy through this portal. And she's observed that this portal has been in use for like tens of thousands of years. So she's wondering why it still works fine, but she also seems pleased that it's been able to work and that Earth seems to be improving with its own technology. So more guards come running in. Anna whoops their butts. So Amir says this part is very exciting, and then she runs out to find the fugitive. There, she finds a city on Earth. It looks like a maze to her. Don't know what the city is like. This is where the part where Amir finished reading, and she said that it's packed with action, just enough exposition to get meaning. She also said that the science fiction elements were fascinating, though she isn't the biggest science fiction fan. She does say, however, that she will probably come back and enjoy the world, and she'd like to spend a little bit more time there.
I am also going to check this out. I love space
Yeah,
operas and I love books that are in a series. And the fact that there's 16 books in this series is really, really promising to me because I hate learning new character names. And when all the books have the same characters, it's great. Like I've watched every episode of Law and Order and Grey's Anatomy because I really like that fact. So I will be checking that out as well. Okay, so now on to book number 2 on today's list. Let me make that a little bit bigger for you guys. Here you go. Legacy of Luck by Christy Nicholas is one of 11 books in the Druid's Brooch series, a time travel romance, where the books can be read in any order. The other books are $1 to $6 each, and some of them, but not all of them, are in Kindle Unlimited. And Emma read this book for us. And Emma, what did you think of this book?
yeah, like I'm a big fan of historical fantasy, but not so much romance. So I thought it was going to be interesting when I first started reading this. It starts off with Eamon. So this is in Ireland in the 1700s. And I actually didn't know that this was a time travel fantasy. It didn't give off that impression, but if the books can be read in any order, that's pretty cool. So this character, his chief interests are women and gambling, and both of which are plenty to be had at this horse fair he's attending. So he's walking around the stables looking at the horses that are going to be racing later on, and there he meets Deidre. And it turns out that Deidre has been flirting with Eamon's cousin, but they eventually head off to the woods for romance because he kind of seduces her. So then Deidre rushes back to her home afterwards, and she meets up with her sister Katie. So there we get Katie's point of view. Katie's family, and they are on the poorer side, and her father spends too much time drinking and sort of wasting away their funds. Eventually, her mother sends her to the horse to buy bread as well as some more alcohol for her father, but she wants to sort of keep it as a secret. So Katie reluctantly goes. She's not a big fan of having to go get more liquor for her father, but she knows she won't be able to have any fun if she goes there. She'll be expected straight home. So she enters the horse fair. There she meets Eamon's cousin, and in exchange for alcohol, she has Katie offers to reward him later with a kiss. So there she runs into Eamon, and by that I mean she accidentally steps on it, like he accidentally steps on her foot. And Katie instantly dislikes him, but Eamon sees her as another conquest, he's attracted to her. So Katie returns home with the alcohol, and she notices her father talking with some men about something business related, but I think it might have something to do with her, but her mom plays it off as, oh, your father's just going to buy a horse. So she thinks nothing of it. And later, she manages to sneak back to the horse fair and she rewards Ciara with a kiss. This is Eamon's cousin. And she also continues to ignore Eamon because she just does not like him. At one point, another man also accidentally steps on Katie's foot, and the cousin, Eamon, and others get caught up in a fist fight. Katie tries to stop it, but then she falls near the fire. She burns herself. She, Eamon, and the cousin are all taken away to the healer's tent. And while there, Katie and Eamon seem to share a connection, so maybe they don't really dislike each other after all. And at this point, I stopped reading. I'm not a big romance fan, but I was intrigued by some of the characters. I really like Katie specifically. I have to admit that at different points I was interested in where the plot was going, and I don't think I'll continue with it since it just isn't my genre, but I do recommend that you check it out, especially if you like this type of fantasy.
So people kept stepping on her foot.
Yeah, it was like it happened multiple times.
Like,
This
what's
girl
wrong
has
with
had the worst luck.
Does she have like super big feet or something?
Like, I don't know what was going on.
All right, so before we go on to book number one, I want to thank our Patreon supporters. So let me make that a little bit bigger. And Christopher Luby is the newest one who joined our family of supporters. So the story behind MetaStellar is that we publish original short stories, science fiction, fantasy, and horror on our website. We publish reprints and book excerpts, and the authors are paid because of donations from our supporters. The rest of us, all of us editors, including me and Emma, we're all volunteers. And in addition to publishing short stories on our website every week, we also publish anthologies. We have 3 anthologies out right now. We're currently working on our 4th anthology, and we are serializing a novel, Gods and Monsters. The last installment of it will be published next week. And the author has been reading the novel on our YouTube channel as well, which is fantastic. Check that out. The link to that is going to be in the description below as well. So yeah, Patreon supporters are awesome. We love you guys. We would not be here without you. Thank you so much. And if you would like to join them, the link is in the description box below. Okay, and then another thing that I want to mention is that Emma has a book coaching business, so you can actually hire her to help you with your book for the editing and the other stuff that goes into it. And I have 3 books up on Amazon and like 10 other books that I just have to get around to having them edited and published and stuff. So I've been kind of dragging my feet on that. But the links to both of those are in the description box below as well. And now on to book number one on today's bestseller list, which is Bitter Winds by Colton Lively, a standalone book of small town, post-apocalypse, EMP survival. And the author has so many other books in the genre, more than 30 books. So there's plenty of reading here if you like his style. And nearly all the books are in Kindle Unlimited. So an EMP is an electromagnetic pulse that takes out electronics but leaves people, animals, and plants unharmed. So you might have seen those EMP guns that you point at a car and its electronics dies, you know. So those an EMP blast can be caused by solar radiation, by a nuclear bomb, or by an EMP gun. So Alex read this for us, and because he loves all these books, he's been reading EMP books for us for years, and he's the one who reads all of them. So in a lot of these books, society degenerates into chaos pretty quickly, and the main characters have to figure out how to survive. And some of the books are a little bit more realistic, and have a lot more common sense in them. And some of the books are like full on like survivalist bitter lonely men with guns who the minute their cell phone dies they start shooting everybody. They're like, I knew this day was going to come, you know, my cell phone's dead, therefore there's been an EMP attack, I have to kill everybody before they kill me and take my canned goods or whatever. So there's wide range of types of books here. So here we have Kevin, who's an older man. He has a 30-year-old daughter, Diana. And Kevin is a survivalist who's been preparing his daughter for many different types of natural disasters her whole life. So he knows that a major solar flare is about to happen and it will damage the electrical grid. And the 2 of them are at their remote cabin where they grow all the food they need, and they have a bunker beneath the cabin that they've dug themselves. And it's sunrise, they're sitting there and watching the sun come up, and then the sky lights up in colors they've never seen in the sky before because the solar flare is hitting. And then in the next chapter, Diana's looking through her binoculars and she sees that all the power has gone out in a nearby city and explosions are happening in the distance. And and Kevin dies because he had a pacemaker in his chest that stopped working. However, he trained her well, and she feels ready to handle the aftermath of the damage that the solar flare has done. And Alex did not like the premise of this because Diana's dad pulled her out of school when she was 10 and started training her, to be prepared for disasters. So she spent the past 20 years living with her dad as a doomsday prepper and not like having a real life at all, like dating, traveling, or a regular job. So he's kind of like creeped out by this whole premise, and he says that he probably will not keep reading. But if this is your kind of thing, like I said, the book is free. It's super popular. All of these books are really popular on Amazon for some reason. Maybe it satisfies some kind of uh, a human desire to see all the phones die. Anyway, check it out if you like it. He's got a lot of other books up on Amazon, and this whole genre has a lot of books in it. Um, and before we go, I want to thank Emma for joining us here today. Thanks, Emma. And I want to mention that you can catch some of our other videos. On this channel, we have hundreds of other videos, including the readings that E.E. King has done of her book, Gods and Monsters. So definitely check it out. We just posted an interview with her about the process of serializing this novel. So check that out as well. Okay, thank you, everybody. I'm gonna like create some blank space here for some links so that YouTube can put them in. Thanks, Emma. Thanks, everybody. I hope you are off to a great 2025. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. We've got a mug with the word MetaStellar on it that I have some coffee in that you can get in the description box below. Love you guys. See you next week.
Bye.